Hi, today I wanted to show you my coloring progress in Game of Thrones coloring book, and also I wanted to show you how my coloring skills changed during last 2 years. This was my first coloring page in this book, and I have this book almost for 2 years from the beginning of my hobby. And you can see on this page that it definitely lacks some shadows and the shading is also not perfect. This one is my second picture and it's just boring, nothing interesting at all. My third picture was much better. It was done completely with ink tenses and it was my first page apart from Lizzie Mary Cullen book, which I did with this pencil, and this one looks a little bit better, I think. At least it's interesting. And I put some effort in coloring it, unlike for this shield. You may also notice the difference in the family shields because half of them I colored in the beginning and half of them in the let's say middle of my coloring hobby. So shields which I colored using mixed media like watercolors plus ink stencils plus colored pencils look much more interesting, and shields which I colored in the beginning are not so interesting. They are paler, they are not so bright, and they definitely lack contrast. This one is, I think, the last of the family shields which I finished, and this was the second. And you can see that I definitely didn't put a lot of efforts in coloring it. Here I used mixed media also, and it's not bad. I still haven't colored portraits in this book, but then I started to participate in coloring marathon, and I also practiced a lot of using watercolors in this book, and I learned a lot. For example, here I'm quite proud of the background, and I think that even now, after a year of after the moment when I finish this book, I can't do it better. So this is one of my favorite finished pages in all my coloring books. But this one is not so good. I put here too dark and too opaque layer of watercolors, and in this way I didn't have any possibility to add shadows using pencils to correct my mistakes, so I'm not very happy with shadows, with contrasts, and how I colored this horse, of course. This one is not bad, but it definitely lacks some highlights from the fire on the clothes, but it's not bad. Sometimes I want to correct my old works, like add shadows or add highlights and reflexes, but then I think that maybe it will be better and more helpful for me if I leave them just like they are, and it will be easier for me to observe my progress from the earliest to my latest works. The next picture is a complete failure. I used here oil-based pastels in order to cover areas where I don't want watercolors to be applied, but these rays of lights look so unnatural, so that I'm very disappointed in this picture. Generally, I'm very happy that I already did so many pages in this coloring book, and even if I'm a little bit disappointed that now I can color uh, some pages much better, like this one, because this one definitely lack of contrast, and this one also. I used watercolor to do it, but it also don't have enough shadows, and I used here clear colors of watercolors. I was afraid of mixing them, so colors look not very interesting. This is one of my favorite coloring books because of variety of subjects and a lot of beautiful artists who participated in drawing this book. And I am proud of the pictures of the ocean and sea which I did here. I learned a lot about mixing watercolors for doing water, and I also happy with this page. This was one of my first attempts to color interesting sky gradient, and I invented interesting trick here of this melted stone, very similar to the blood. Oh, this one is really strange. It didn't have any focus point of attention, and it didn't have any idea. I think that I just wanted to play with colors. This one is not bad, but it definitely has a lack of difference between the foreground and background, and also lack of shadows and contrasts. It's my constant problem, I believe. And I am happy that I still have a lot of pictures where I can practice and do it better. I did this one with Derwent drawing. It was very interesting experience in learning these pencils. And this one I did almost completely with watercolors. It's not perfect, but still not bad. And I think that this was the first page where I learned how to color dragons. This one is, I think, is a good picture. And this one also like some contrast and proper shadows and difference between the foreground and background. But I'm happy how I did the rain on the sky. Oh, this one is good in my opinion. I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of the reflexes of this I forgot of this ship in the water, of course, of this ship. This is one of the latest, but still I did it, I believe, 6 months ago. This one and this one. This one is not bad, but it also didn't have proper light reflexes on the chair and on the background, on the grape also. At least I am happy that now I see the faults and I know how I would improve it if I have a chance to color it the second time. And this is my current work, my work in progress, and I hope that you will join me and that you will watch my video which I already published on my channel. This is one of the oldest work, also a year ago I believe. Not bad still. And we return to my first work, first page in this book. I am quite happy how my coloring skills are improved during 2 years of coloring this book, and I am happy that now I am used mixed media for coloring it, and in this way my pages look much more interesting and more realistic. I know where I have to improve and what I have to learn in order to improve my coloring and to make my pages and my tutorials better. And for me, it was a very interesting experience to have a fresh look on my coloring book and to discover my experience and my progress. I hope that one day I will finish the whole book and we will discuss together my progress from the beginning till the end of the completed coloring book. Thank you for watching and happy coloring to all of you!